On the 14th of December 2010, the sun rose over South Africa as needy and expectant youngsters headed off to the Missionvale Care Centre. They were promised a Christmas surprise, which is a rare thing in their squatter camp shanty world. Missionvale is one of the poorest townships in Port Elizabeth. Well over 130,000 people live here in dismal poverty. It was the Missionvale Care Centre's annual Christmas party for the youngsters in the community. A uniquely happy day was in store for these children. The message had filtered through the township, and large groups of youths were converging on the centre, where there were already hundreds waiting in anticipation. They just did not know what to expect. Needless to say, these youths have seldom or never had anything new when it comes to clothing or a pair of shoes. Enter TOMS Shoes and the Rotary Club of Coronado. Inside the community hall, organizer for Missionvale, Linda van Oothuisden, was giving last-minute instructions to 80 volunteers from the public. Among them, 45 Rotarians. They had to measure and fit American sizes to South African feet. TOMS Shoes is a business operating a one-for-one model. With every pair of shoes a customer purchases, TOMS gives a new pair of shoes to a child in need. The expectant crowd kept growing outside the hall and soon swelled to over 2,000 from ages 7 to mid or late teens. The volunteers were ready for action. The floodgates were opened, the youngsters streamed in, and distribution began at full throttle. The volunteers were under pressure to measure the right sizes, and when the children realized they were getting a pair of brand new shoes, their young faces glowed with pleasure, and the news spread. Most of them had never ever had this experience before. TOMS Shoes is a young company, and when the founder visited South America a number of years ago, he found that this style of shoe was very popular and hardy. He then decided that this would be the shoe that is donated to the needy children in poor communities around the world. Dan Gensler, a member of the Rotary Club of Coronado, relates how the Missionvale community became the beneficiaries of such a large donation of shoes.
Well, it all started with TOMS Shoes and the founding of that company 5-6 years ago. And as they've expanded their sales in the United States, their motto is to give a pair away for every pair that they sell. And so they've been selling like hotcakes, and they were looking for partners in different parts of the world. And we got wind of it and submitted an application, a very lengthy application, and we're fortunate enough to be included in one of their partnerships for a shoe distribution. So I met Sister Ethel about 5 or 6 years ago in Copenhagen at a Rotary convention. And so she and I become good friends, and we've been working with her through Rotary and doing different projects. TOMS Shoes was independent of Rotary, but we've also involved a lot of Rotary in terms of the support on the U.S. side as well as support on this side. One of the Rotarians here has been responsible for housing all of the shoes when they came into port. So we've had a great extent of Rotary involvement, and there's a variety of Rotarians helping, fitting, sizing, and doing all kinds of things as it relates to the shoes. So it's coming along very nicely.
In Missionvale, over 80% of the people are unemployed, and unfortunately, hunger is something that they are forced to live with. The community of 130,000 shares 16 taps for their water needs. Education facilities are scarce. There is a major lack of medical services amongst a host of illnesses. TB is rife. AIDS is at epidemic proportions, and untimely death an everyday happening. 24 years ago, Sister Ethel Normoyle decided to try to help this impoverished community and started the Missionvale Care Centre under a ficus tree, a mammoth task, but help she did, along with her compassionate caregivers and other staff. Today, the Missionvale Care Centre provides a staggering variety of facilities, from education for the very young to adults. Caregivers visit the sick at their homes and treat them at the wellness center. Clothing is also distributed. The soup and bread kitchen is stretched to capacity to provide minimum daily relief. The center is in an ongoing struggle to uplift a community with such massive and desperate needs. Above all, Sister Ethel has restored the community's sense of self-respect, and her efforts are recognized nationally and internationally. And here she was helping to fit shoes on this very appreciative youngster, along with the other volunteers.
We are here today celebrating a most wonderful day because a man called Blake McCuskey dreamt a dream, and he created this most wonderful institution called TOMS Shoes. Thank you very, very much, Blake. I cannot believe that this concept could be initiated by one man, and it has become famous throughout the world that for every pair of shoes that TOMS sell, they put aside a pair of shoes for a disadvantaged child. What love, what thought. Thank you so much, Blake, and to all the people who have been so intimately involved with this program. I see the children walking up with a pair of shoes on them that they never had before. And every step is, thank you, thank you, thank you. And there's a smile on their faces. They have tripped over with the joy of looking down at their feet that have covered with a new pair of shoes. Never, ever, ever did they have them. I'm so grateful to the Rotarians in San Diego, to Dan, who made the contact with TOMS, and to the Rotarians there and to the Rotarians here. What a wonderful group of people. You know, all those things don't happen just automatically. It is God above that puts those inspirations, aspirations, and dreams into the hearts of people, and then they allow the God in them to work through them. May God bless each and every one of you, and I hope that whenever you're in need, whatever it may be, that there will be somebody there to put the shoes of life on you. I can only say to TOMS Shoes, you are a most wonderful creation in this bleak world of ours that we're experiencing at the moment. And for it to continue to help the disadvantaged, I say to everybody out there, please go buy a pair of TOMS shoes.
New shoes are but a dream for most of these kids, who either have none or wear worn and broken hand-me-downs, the order of the day. And so a new pair of TOMS shoes was a wonderful opportunity to bring Christmas joy to these youngsters. Linda tells us just how meaningful this distribution is.
We had a little boy here not long ago, and we found him outside of school. And we said, why aren't you at school? And he said, well, they're making fun of my shoes. And we looked at the clothing warehouse, but we had run out of shoes, as we often do. And Sister Muriel went to him and she said, you have to pray to Jesus that he'll try and find you some shoes. Next day he came back. We didn't have shoes for him the next day. She said, you have to pray harder. We eventually found the right pair of shoes for him, and he came in and we let him try it on. And that child's face was just absolutely amazing. That face when he saw the shoes, it's the first pair of new shoes he's ever owned. For many of these kids, this is the only Christmas present they'll receive. First pair of new shoes they'll receive. I just want to show you some of the shoes that we're collecting today. This is the level of disrepair that they go through. So the impact here is absolutely enormous, and you can see the joy on the children's faces.
Amongst the volunteers was our lovely Miss Port Elizabeth, Bianca Harper, a local celebrity who was full of admiration for this kind gesture. By mid-afternoon, TOMS Shoes had found thousands of grateful pairs of wanting feet, and the youth continued coming as the message spread through the township about new shoes being distributed. What joy! Can you imagine the wonder of getting a new pair of shoes for the first time in your life? But this is not a one-off distribution.
It's going really well. We've got a great turnout so far, and the kids are coming and they're flocking like mad, and everybody's getting fit. It's a very exciting day. So this particular arrangement with TOMS is called TOMS Giving. And so they will be giving us a new container of shoes every 6 months. And so we'll be getting updated shoes as the kids grow, as their feet grow, and they utilize the shoes and wear them out. We'll get a replenishment every 6 months. So it's not a one-time thing. It will be a continuous thing forevermore, we hope.
What a marvelous commitment. Established in 2005, TOMS has already donated over 1 million pairs of these shoes to various parts of the globe. And now it was South Africa's turn to receive their God-sent gift. No more injuries from broken glass, rusty nails, thorns, and so on. These needy feet are now protected. Eventually, over 4,500 young people received a pair of spanking new shoes for Christmas. Congratulations to all the participants in this wonderful and mammoth donation of shoes to the youth of Missionvale, Port Elizabeth, South Africa.